welcome back to another exciting edition of Keeping It Real with Coach Neal. I'm Brandon Sands with the Seahawk Digital Network, joined now by UNCW women's soccer coach Chris Neal. Coach, how are you this week?
Doing good.
Good. Let's jump right into it, shall we? Last weekend, you had two games. You had one on Thursday at VCU. That was a 1-1 split. Then, you come home in your home opener, take care of business against Coastal. Just a little insight into how you feel you did the two games last week.
I'm happy with how we played, and we keep growing. We keep getting better. A draw on the road at VCU is a tough result. They are defending Atlantic 10 champions, and Lindsay does a great job with her team always. They're always very, very competitive. We had a lead in that match late in the game, but couldn't hang on. They put us under a lot of pressure. So to be early in the season and to get a draw on the road against a quality opponent like VCU, we were happy with that. But when we come home, you expect to win. And to win, you have to execute. And I thought our team continued to put together a good performance on Sunday. And it was a pretty, I wouldn't say it was comfortable, but we felt like we were in the driver's seat in that match for 90 minutes.
How nice was it to finally be home? It feels like, close to a month. You've been on the road aside from one home scrimmage earlier in August. How nice was it to just sleep in your own bed and wake up and have your fans there cheering you on behind you?
It was great. And we really road tested this group early in the year. And we played Clemson away, we played Queens away, we played VCU away. So those were some real tests for us. And it was really nice to be back home. Just a different feel when you're playing in that stadium.
Having gone through that road gauntlet now, from where you started to where you are now, where do you think you're at?
I feel very optimistic. The first 10 days was a little hectic. It was all over the place. We had a lot of different variables we were trying to pull together from a personnel standpoint early in the season. After the Coastal game, it feels like things are starting to fall into place, both defensively, both offensively, both transition-wise and personnel-wise. Some people are coming back. I spoke about Jordan Favre earlier in the season with her coming back off injury. It had been 10 months since she had played. For her to score in her first start of the year against Coastal is an example of things feeling like they're coming together.
Absolutely. Jordan scores, and I believe it was the 10th minute. 13 minutes later, you have a Kayla Burrows, another big goalkeeper, or big goal scorer, that you're getting back. And then, Talia in the 82nd, towards the end of the game to kind of, give that 2-goal lead again. Just talk about, the being able to rely on so many different, outlets and players to be able to, make things happen for you on the pitch.
It's a great feeling, because not everybody has a great game every time they go out. So you have to have depth and execution, so to speak. You have to have a number of players that can affect the game with big plays, and we got that on Sunday. It was definitely on display.
You talk about that depth, and, this season you have really made it a point to utilize all of your bench. And how special is that and easy is that to be able to, be able to feel comfortable playing them in a game setting, because that's when you're not just, going to play players just to, save minutes and stuff, but to be able to, have that at your disposal to keep legs fresh and move as you go forward into the season, eventually conference play.
Well, some of our large roster this year was by design, and some of it is a result of the extra COVID year. But we do have a larger roster this year than what we've had in the previous 4 seasons. And that comes with a lot of positive qualities, and it also comes with some difficult issues. We have 32 healthy players right now. And I think that's a testament to our training regime and the periodization that we use, and our staff, support staff, including Stacy looking after our kids, and Becker doing a great job with them in the weight room. But it brings personnel issues. So we use a lot of bodies for a variety of reasons. Number one, we want to protect some of our older fifth-year players that have been around the block a few times, and we need to make sure we limit their minutes so that they're healthy still going into conference play. 2, we want to play some younger players so they can gain experience. And we also want to keep the morale high on the team. So part of it was experimenting and seeing who could do what, seeing what relationships work, but then part of it is also just keeping more people involved so that the morale stays high longer throughout the beginning part of the year. Inevitably, as we get down to conference play, we're going to have to settle on some more specific rotations and playing time. So we're still figuring that a little bit out right now. But we don't want to miss opportunities to give players a chance when we can and to keep players healthy.
One thing that you are figuring out or doing by design in the net, you've got two I think awesome goalkeepers. Blair Brayford, obviously, we know her pedigree, and to add somebody with experience, like a graduate transfer, like a Hannah Weiss. Most people say if you have two goalies, you might not have one, but these are two, phenomenal young women who you can step in there and expect to get a good result from.
We have two very experienced goalkeepers, both with tremendous pedigrees, and I think that we have two goalkeepers that can legitimately make all conference. So there's no negative in that problem. That is a great problem to have. And right now they're both performing very well. The chemistry between our goalkeeping unit seems to be great, and we're just going to carry on for now.
They're really, just directing that defensive line has just been really special to watch each game, and like how they support each other on the sidelines, and they push each other to make each other better. That's something that I think that you emphasize. I know in your program, whether it's practice, games, competing, always competition. And like how. You're seeing that. I think you're starting to see in year 5 more consistently, and it's more ingrained now that you've actually had freshmen come into your program, and now they are those seniors, the 4th years, the 5th years, and all that stuff, right?
We want them to be unconsciously competitive in everything they do, and sometimes in training it gets pretty intense, and as coaches we often end up being referees and bearing the brunt of that competitiveness. But as soon as it happens, I think it would probably tweak a lot of coaches, but when they start having a go at us, it makes us happy because we know that it's coming from a competitive foundation. And we do some things in training to test the waters and find out how competitive they're going to be on the day, and they never disappoint. So just love seeing them go out there and get after it. And we told them the other day, if they can get to a point where they know they're competing against each other, for each other, every day in training, then our opponent becomes secondary to all that. So hopefully that's where we're headed.
Awesome, Coach. And, let's look ahead. You got two, very important early season non-conference tests coming up here at home. We'll start with East Carolina, a little insight into that matchup at 7 on Thursday night.
Well, they've got a new head coach, Coach Higgins, who seems to be doing a wonderful job, and the results are there. They beat Old Dominion, who are, I believe, reigning Conference USA champions, even though they switched leagues. But that was a 3-0 result for ECU at ECU. And then they beat High Point, who are reigning Big South champions, 2-0. So that's 5 goals for, none against 2 conference champions last weekend. And it's going to be a wonderful test of 2 in-state rivals on Thursday night. And I'm excited for that match. And then on Sunday, obviously, we have High Point, who, like I said earlier, are reigning Big South champions. And we had a great 2-1 match with them at their place last year. So this is the type of competition we want to play as we head into CAA, to test us and to answer any unanswered questions we may have and to prepare us.
I believe you have 7 in-state opponents on the schedule this year. It is a good feeling to not be able to travel too far to have high-quality soccer. Because obviously, location is going to dictate how you schedule things to begin with. But when you're actually getting those high-quality matchups and you don't have to go far to it, that just speaks to, I think, the talent here in North Carolina.
We have 16 Division I programs in North Carolina, and most of them operate at a very, very high level, say from an RPI standpoint. Right. We get emails from all over the country from other programs wanting to play us and asking for guarantees. And I just have to tell them point blank, we don't have to travel very far to play a great match in North Carolina. So we're very lucky from that respect. I know our administration loves it because we don't have to spend a whole lot of money on non-conference travel either. But, just truly blessed with what's around us and all the great programs and all the in-state rivals that we get to experience every year.
And lastly, before we go, I do want to shoehorn this back and touch on Jordan Favre. Being able to go through the rehab process in the offseason mostly, but be able to come out and, and step right back into the fire. That speaks to experience, the dedication and commitment that she put in to get right and being able to be a part of her team this year.
She's a special player, and I had this talk with the entire team today about Jordan. Jordan's still not 100%. She feels great, but after a 10-month absence, it takes time for your body to start firing physically on all cylinders. So we know because we have the numbers and the data from all of her previous years. We know what firing on all cylinders looks like for Jordan from a speed standpoint, from a sprint standpoint, from all that good scientific stuff. So she's not quite there yet, but she's extremely coachable, and she pays attention to all the little details that matter in execution. And the goal she scored on Sunday was a direct display of that. So even though she's not yet quite physically 100%, her brain is firing at a high level, and she's able to make a big impact because she's a very intelligent player also.
Well, Coach, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for your time as usual. This has been Keeping It Real with Coach Neal. UNCW women's soccer back in action Thursday night against East Carolina at UNCW Soccer Stadium at 7 p.m. Coach, thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.